Hi guys, welcome to Collectors Entertainment Network. I am Anthony and we are here again for the Book of Boba Fett review. But first, I would like to ask you to please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, please share it with everyone you know will like this, and of course, please comment below. I can't wait to hear from you. Alright, let's get into the review. Episode 4. I think this has got to be my favorite. See, I think it's getting better each episode. I know there's some complaining out there and there's some people who are not happy, but I don't think these people really even are giving it a chance to build a story. I think a lot of the buildup that has been happening to this point, some of it's been paid off, but some of it has just moved forward to another future payoff. And we'll get into that in this review. This is a spoiler review. I will have it in the thumbnail. I will have it in the description. But just so you know, this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back, and we'll discuss it there. Okay, so it starts off, Boba's in the back of the tank. So we're starting with a flashback. And by the way, I want to point out, people have been complaining about the BK beating him up and he would never survive in the last episode, but he was drenched in Bacta, so it might have been like keeping him healed as he went. I don't know. That's just a theory, but I'm throwing it out there. Okay, we start with him in the tank, so it starts in a flashback, and I was not looking at the time. I would say it was a 48-minute episode. Take out 8 minutes for previously on and credits, so I'd say it's a good 40-minute episode. I wasn't really paying attention to the time, but I would say about half the episode, maybe a little more, was the flashback. And what a flashback this was. So it starts with him and his bantha going to scout Jabba's palace because he knows that his ship, which is the fire spray now, okay, he knows that his ship is there and he needs his ship. So he goes to scout it out, but there's always too many guards. While he's at his camp with his bantha, he sees flashes in the distance. So he goes to investigate. We know those flashes are what's taking place in The Mandalorian when Mando and, I don't remember his name at this point, but the brand new bounty hunter, they get involved and try and take down Fennec Shand. So when Boba goes to investigate, he finds Fennec. He sees her and sees that she has a mortal wound. What does he do? He brings her to the outskirts of Mos Eisley, to one of those sort of, they make it look like a tattoo shop, but it's where those kids got all their implants. And they bring her there. He throws money on the table and says, she's about to die, you need to save her. So they do, and that's how she got all those mechanical insides. So see, some of the stuff is sort of paying off. We met the mods, as they call them, and those implant type things are paying off, which actually started in The Mandalorian when she showed that she had been patched up in that way. So now he's got Fennec and brings her back to his camp, and then eventually wakes up and sort of explains what happened, what's going on. She immediately says, okay, I'll pay back my debt, for you saving my life, but, then I'm done. So the mission is to get his ship out of Jabba's palace. So they go on another scouting mission. She takes a little probe droid, but literally like this size. It goes in, it scans it, it gets the lay of the land, how many guards, all that stuff. They come up with a plan, which they deviate from a little, but they get in, they go in quiet, but then of course a firefight breaks out. They manage to get the ship, save the ship, and get out of there. Action, action scene, it was great. So then that's it, they've got the ship. He says to Fennec, your debt is paid, where should I drop you off? And she asks, well, where are you going? And he says, I've got a few people to pay back, so to speak. And she says, I'll go along for the ride. So the first thing he does is he takes out the biker gang that killed the Sand People. A little side note though, when she first comes back to life, if you want to say that, he mentions to her that he tried to, the Sand People took him in raised them as, helped them and treated them as their own, and he went and got them all killed by a biker gang. And she says a biker gang took out the Sand People. That doesn't seem very likely. That's a little foreshadowing. The biker gang, although may have been involved, they were not the only ones. Something, whether it was the Pikes, someone was either financing it or helping them. They were not the only ones. Or they framed them by another organization or whatever killed all the Sand People, and then they put the insignia on to frame the biker gang. So we don't know where that's going, but I think her saying that was a little bit of foreshadowing for it wasn't just a biker gang. But at this point, there's no other evidence or anything for Boba, and he finds the biker gang, and now he's got his ship, and he just takes them out one at a time, two at a time. He's just blowing them left and right. So that biker gang is done. Then he goes over to the Sarlacc with the understanding or thinking that his Beskar, his armor must be down there, and of course it's not, because we know he got out with the Beskar, and then the Jawas took it off him before the Sand People ever came. But anyway, so that they go in there, they get really close, and of course the Sarlacc, attacks, and then they have to blow it up and all that stuff. So the Sarlacc's dead. He then goes down after it's dead and realizes it's not there, which we all could have told him, right? Anyway, so now he's got his ship, but he doesn't have his armor. He has paid back the biker gang, and he's taking care of the Sarlacc. So that's what then leads into Boba in The Mandalorian, which they don't really show. They just sort of show him with his armor again, and then with him taking over the throne from Bib Fortuna. He wakes up from the back to tank sleep or whatever it is, and the flashbacks, and the droid says, "Congratulations, Boba. You are now fully healed." So I could only take that as no more flashbacks, no more back to tank scenes, where he's having his flashbacks, and we're just going to move forward from there. So in the present day, he gets all the families of Mos Espa around, all the ones that Bib had parsed out, and says, "Listen, the Pikes are, coming after us. We need to band together." They all say, "Well, they're only coming after you. Why should we spill any blood for you?" And he says, "Okay, I'll do all the fighting, but you make sure you just don't double cross me." And he feels that that's a better offer than they're going to get from the Pikes, and that they all know that the Pikes, just because they're attacking Boba's family or Boba's territory, that they won't come after all of them. So he's banking on them knowing that. Oh, but before that, he went down to the sort of nightclub thing where Jennifer Beals is the proprietor, and BK is there, and he's obviously getting drunk, and he's kind of feeling like, his better days are behind him, and he's having a sort of, midlife crisis. I don't know how old he is. I mean, Wookiees live over 200 years. I don't know how old he is. I guess I could probably look it up. But anyway, he is getting drunk and starting to pick a fight, and he rips someone's arm off, rips someone's arm out of their socket. But as he's walking out and Boba Fett's walking in, he says, looking for a job. So he's now got BK on his payroll, which is probably a good thing. It keeps him feeling like he's important, BK that is, and it gets him some muscle. Speaking of muscle, that brings us to the end when Fennec says, how is our treasure looking? He says, "I have plenty of credits, but I need muscle." And Fennec says, "Well, credits can buy muscle." And then it's sort of, that's when it's sort of, panned back and credits rolled. So I don't know what that's going to mean for next week, but they're going to be obviously buying some muscle, paying some guys, and let's see who comes in next week. Okay, so that just about does it for what happened this week. What do you guys think is going to happen next week? I cannot wait to see. I like where it's going. I think it's telling a great story. Some people think that Boba Fett needs to be just this cold-blooded killer from beginning to end. And what I've been saying is that his time with the Sand People has changed him and has made him see a little more big picture. And that's what he finally says. I mean, I can't believe audiences who are watching this couldn't understand that he's not the same Boba Fett from before he got, eaten by a Sarlacc and all that he, between the Sarlacc and the Sand People and his time there, that it changed him. Like, I could see it with everything they put on screen to this point. But finally, he said it out loud for all those in the audience who could not understand that and needed it actually explained to them. So that's out there. So if you're complaining about him not being a cold-blooded killer from start to finish, look at the evolution. It's a story. It's evolution. It's character growth. It's character arc. It's all these things that we would love to see in Boba Fett. If he was a one-dimensional character, it would be a boring show. This is a exciting show, and I think they're doing a great job, and I think it's all going to pay off. I think it's all building, and it's all going to pay off. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'd really love to hear from you. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode. Don't forget, I've got a new episode of Star Wars Saturday Night on this Saturday. And we'll see you next week for the Book of Boba Fett review. And I guess, well, you know what? Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. And please share this with anyone you think might like it. All right, that's it for this week. Have a great day. May the Force be with you, and have a good one.